A lonely sniper waits 10 days inside a dark tunnel, her rifle aimed at an airport runway. Her name is Drasa, a woman whose bullets never miss. When the government delegate steps into view, she pulls the trigger from miles away and ends the mission in one clean shot. Afterward, she calmly picks up the empty shell and keeps it, like she always does. Far away, another elite marksman named Levi wakes up from the same nightmare that has haunted him for years. The dream leaves him restless, so he sits alone by the sea and writes poetry to quiet his mind. Suddenly, a message from an unknown number orders him to report to a place called C. Pendleton. He goes without hesitation. Inside, a woman questions him about his past. Levi admits he left the Navy 4 years ago, even though he was one of their best snipers. During his final job, a superior told him he was no longer suitable for missions, and since then, he has taken no contracts. He has no lover, no family, no attachments. The woman studies him carefully, then offers him a classified assignment. He accepts, realizing the interview itself was the test. Meanwhile, Drasa stands before her mother's grave in Lithuania, her sick father beside her. She silently hands him the empty bullet casings from her latest kills. Taking lives weighs on her heart, and giving the shells to her father is the only way she eases her guilt. Her father, weakened by cancer, calmly tells her that on Valentine's Day, he plans to end his own life. With his wife gone, his daughter always away, and disease eating him from within, he sees no reason to keep fighting. The words break Drasa's heart, yet she understands
his pain. Cancer eats me from the inside out. Death will be a welcome change. February 14th, Valentine's Day. I'm going to do it myself. It's my life to take. Come on now, let's have our beer and say a proper goodbye.
Before leaving, she tells him she has been chosen for a long mission and will not return home for a year. In September, Levi's operation begins. On a plane, he is drugged and stripped of all personal items. When he wakes, he is given coordinates.
Expected by 1600 hours tomorrow.
Jumps from the aircraft and crosses brutal mountains until he reaches a forgotten wasteland.
At long last, my sweet prince has come.
A quiet soldier greets him, explaining he has not spoken to another human in a year because of how isolated this place is. Levi learns he has been assigned to the West Tower overlooking a massive gorge. Each year, one guard replaces another. Across the abyss stands the East Tower with its own unseen watcher, but communication is forbidden and impossible due to the endless drop between them. Levi's orders are simple: maintain the weapons, patrol daily, and remain inside the tower, yet no one clearly tells him what he is guarding. The region is surrounded by signal jammers called cluckers that send fake data to satellites, hiding the location from the world. The former guard, JD, explains that no outside calls can reach them. There is only a radio with a panic button that sends a signal to someone unknown. If every jammer is destroyed at once, something called the Stray Dog Protocol will activate. Though even JD does not know what that means. He gives one serious warning: if the air raid sirens ever sound, Levi must run and never look back. The base was built during the Cold War under a secret agreement between two rival powers. Since then, one guard from the west and one from the east protect the site every year. When Levi asks if his role is to stop intruders from entering the gorge, JD corrects him. His true duty is to make sure nothing ever comes out. JD believes the gorge is a doorway to hell itself, and they are the gatekeepers. Deep below live twisted beings called the Hollow Men. Decades ago, in the 1940s, 3 full battalions, almost 2,400 cavalry soldiers, were sent to clear the gorge, and not a single one returned. The next morning, JD's service ends. A helicopter arrives to extract him. He introduces himself to the crew, and in that very moment, the officials shoot him without hesitation.
Thank you for your service.
The truth is darker than anyone imagined. The woman who recruited Levi was the one ordering the executions. No guard was ever meant to leave alive. Each year when duty ended, the soldier was removed to protect the secret. That was the system. That was the rule. And if nothing changed, Levi would face the same end. Alone inside the West Tower, he follows his routine day after day, surrounded by silence so heavy it feels alive. When October comes, he discovers old handwriting hidden behind a bookshelf, lines from poems left by former guards. One sentence catches his eye: only those who dare to go too far can discover how far they can truly go. He reads it again and again, not knowing it will soon control his fate. Soon after, he hears the roar of a chainsaw from the East Tower. Through his advanced scope, he sees a woman cutting wood. It is Drasa. The assassin from the East has been assigned to the opposite side. One night at 3 a.m., Levi wakes from his nightmare and accidentally cuts himself on broken glass. As he wraps his wound, he feels drawn to the window and notices Drasa awake as well. The next day is her birthday. She quietly slices a small cake alone. Tired of the silence, she fires a pistol into the air to get his attention and holds up paper asking his name. From that moment, they begin speaking through written signs and distant gestures. After months of isolation, even simple words make them smile. Plays loud music and dances. Then suddenly she notices movement below and signals him to look from the depths of the gorge. Pale, twisted figures begin climbing the walls toward both towers. The hollow men are real. Levi immediately aims at the creatures scaling Drass's side while she protects his tower. Their shots echo across the canyon as bodies fall into darkness. One monster reaches Drass's platform, but she kills it at close range and kicks it back into the abyss, though she is injured in the struggle. The next day, Levi spots something like a mechanical drone rising from the gorge, but he cannot understand it. Days pass, and their written conversations grow longer. They watch over each other constantly. When Christmas arrives, Levi lights up a tree in his tower, and the colorful glow makes Drass laugh for the first time in months. Winter moves on. In February, Levi's nightmare returns, reminding him of his first mission, the one that still haunts him. He wakes thinking only of Drassa, and realizes the cruel truth: they may never stand side by side. One day, she does not appear during patrol. That night, she writes back with tears in her eyes, saying she feels empty and misses him. Something awakens inside Levi. He remembers the words about risking everything. If he stays still, nothing will ever change. He forms a dangerous plan. Using cables tied to a grenade launcher, he fires a line across the abyss toward the east side. Drassa secures it from her end. Holding flowers in his hand, Levi hooks himself to the cable and begins crossing the endless drop. Halfway through, the line jams and he must climb by hand above the deadly void. Reaching the east tower, he collapses into Drassa's arms.
Drassa's arms.
And we're closed. What's that you're going?
I brought you flowers.
Thank you.
There's a lot more green in your eyes than I was expecting.
You smell terribly.
They share food and stories. Levi reveals he once ranked among the top 5 snipers in the world. Neither of them knows where this place truly is, or what the Hollow Men really are, and that mystery burns inside him. That night, they grow closer than ever before, finding warmth in a frozen world. Yet Drassa's heart is heavy, because February is the month her father planned to leave this world, and she never got to say goodbye. Morning comes too quickly. Levi must return before suspicion rises. As he crosses back, explosions suddenly erupt along his tower wall. The cable snaps. He falls into the dark void below. Without hesitation, Drassa straps on her gear and leaps after him. She plunges deep into the gorge, crashing into a rushing river. But in the violent current, her auto-ascender device slips away into the river without her noticing, the very tool that could have carried them back to the surface. Not far away, Levi hangs from a twisted tree branch as a massive centipede-like beast crawls toward his face, its jaws ready to tear him apart, yet he fires just in time and blasts it away. The recoil makes him drop into the thick roots below, but the roots are alive and sticky, tightening around his body as if trying to swallow him. Before they can trap him fully, Drassa rushes in and shoots the living roots, pulling him free and saving him again. After catching their breath, they begin exploring the gorge itself, stepping into a strange forest glowing in unnatural colors. 3 horsemen charge at them. These beings look human at first glance, but tree branches and roots grow from their flesh, twisting through their skin. The fight is brutal. The horsemen slash and strike with inhuman strength, injuring both snipers. Yet Levi and Drassa respond with sharp aim and perfect teamwork, finally taking them down. While checking the bodies, Levi notices their uniforms. They are the lost cavalry soldiers sent here in 1940. The horrifying truth becomes clear. The missing battalions never died. They transformed. Humans here are merging with plants and still living decades later. As they move deeper, they pass corpses fused with tree trunks, frozen in twisted poses. The entire gorge feels like a man-made hell. Eventually, they reach a structure that looks like an old church. Inside, skeletons sit quietly on wooden benches. In one bony hand, a small vial of cyanide remains. It appears these people chose death themselves. The question hangs heavy in the air. What horror inside this place was worse than dying? Suddenly, giant spiders with skull-like human faces crawl from the ceiling and attack. At the same time, other mutated creatures smash through the doors. Surrounded, Levi and Drassa fight fiercely, shooting, stabbing, and barely surviving.
Making a hole!
Escaping through a hidden door carved into the gorge wall, they crawl into a cave that leads to a sealed room. Inside, it looks like an abandoned laboratory. Levi finds old cassette tapes while Drasa restores power using a generator. They play a recording through a projector. A scientist appears on screen explaining the truth. In 1946, this underground site was built as a secret joint project between Eastern and Western powers to develop biological and chemical weapons. Then, an 8.1 magnitude earthquake shattered the land, damaging storage units and releasing unstable chemicals into the environment. The leakage was so dangerous that the scientists sealed the gorge off from the world. These chemicals cause DNA from humans, animals, and plants to combine, creating hybrid life forms. That is why monsters and living forests exist here. The scientist explains that short exposure may be safe, but after 5 days, the mutation process begins inside the body. A 5-day quarantine is enough to determine infection. Realizing this, Drasa insists they must escape quickly before the chemicals change them too. While searching a lab, Levi finds modern computers, proof that someone continued this research long after 1946. He uncovers the truth. The woman who recruited him is not a government officer, but the leader of a private group called Dark Lake Paramilitary. Since the accident, her organization has secretly studied the gorge, trying to use the mutations to create super soldiers so the United States could dominate any future war. That is why soldiers like JD were sent here and never allowed to leave. On one computer, Levi opens a file titled Stray Dog. It reveals a final protocol. If the gorge is ever exposed to outside satellites, a hidden missile system will automatically activate and destroy everything within a 4.2 kilometer radius, permanently erasing the site without spreading radiation beyond it. This is the true purpose of the towers and the signal jammers. As they prepare to leave the lab, Levi quietly thanks Drasa for staying by his side, speaking as if these may be his final hours, his feelings for her now clear. Just then, Drasa realizes the bag she left near the entrance is missing. Drasa sees her bag lying just beyond the gate, but the moment she steps forward, the horsemen return and ambush her again. This time they throw a rope around her body, drag her across the ground, and pull her toward their nest. She struggles and shoots, but she slams into a tree trunk. Her vision blurs, and she loses consciousness. Levi chases after them, yet he cannot outrun creatures that move like wild horses. Searching desperately, he finally reaches a massive gas chamber deep inside the gorge. There he sees Drasa being tortured by a towering mutant. The thing was once human, but now vines grow through its flesh. A snake coils from its torso, and bark covers its skin. Even injured, Drasa refuses to surrender and fights fiercely. She manages to ignite the creature with fire, and at that exact moment, Levi arrives and empties his rifle into it, ending its life. Together they escape the chamber and cross a bridge formed from bodies fused with plants and insects, all merged into one horrifying structure. Drasa accidentally stirs one of the sleeping forms, and suddenly many grab her at once, but Levi pulls her free. She sets them ablaze, and flames spread across the bridge. Outside the facility, they find an old jeep positioned near a climbable slope. They jump in and drive upward along the inner wall of the gorge, shooting creatures that leap toward them. Levi fights them off as Drasa steers. When the path ends, they ignite the jeep and push it back down. The explosion burns the pursuing monsters while the two begin scaling the wall by hand. Against all odds, they escape the pit. Their next step is clear: quarantine for 5 days to ensure they are not infected, then disappear forever. But before leaving, they decide to destroy the gorge so no more soldiers will be sacrificed. This time, Drasa builds the zip line, and Levi crosses back to his tower. Before departing, he tells her he loves her. Once at his post, he reports through the radio. The leader of Dark Lake answers personally and asks if he entered the gorge. Levi lies and says no, but mentions seeing a strange drone rising from below. She orders him to eliminate his eastern counterpart. He agrees, pretending loyalty so he can complete his real plan. However, the leader has been watching him through a hidden camera inside his radio. She already knows about Drasa and their bond. Realizing he betrayed them, she mobilizes her strike team to eliminate both guards. As Levi and Drasa begin destroying the cluckers, a helicopter approaches, and drones swarm toward them, firing non-stop, while bullets rain down. The leader reads a message Levi left behind, saying that the sun, the moon, and the truth can never stay hidden. Drasa shoots the signal jammers from her side, while Levi destroys the rest. One by one, they explode. With the cluckers gone, satellites detect the site, activating the stray dog protocol automatically. The missile countdown begins. The leader understands too late. She loads her soldiers into the helicopter and tries to escape, but within minutes, the entire facility erupts in a massive explosion, wiping out everything within range, including the helicopter. as far as possible before the blast reaches him. With no shelter left, he dives into the river, cutting through the gorge as fire consumes the land behind him. His fate remains unknown. Meanwhile, Trassa hides in a cave and completes her 5-day quarantine. Before separating, Levi had given her a letter telling her to open it only if he never returns. After the quarantine, she travels to France as they planned, waiting for him in a quiet town. Days pass with no sign of him. Finally, she opens the letter. Inside is a poem he wrote for her, words that sound like a farewell from someone who believed he would not survive. She breaks down in tears, convinced the radiation or the blast claimed him. Time moves forward. In April, Trassa works as a waitress, trying to live a normal life and bury the past. Then, one evening, she looks up and sees Levi sitting at a table, alive. He may be late, but he kept his promise. Against death, against hell, against the world itself, they survived. And with that, their story comes to an end.